This video we're going to look at the conversations area. Now this is one in particular that looks different on the mobile app versus the desktop app. So this is for the web application. Again, refer to the mobile tutorial for how you manage these on the go, which might be something that you do quite a bit if you're just more on your phone. However, on the desktop version, when you go to the conversations view, you'll see a few different areas. So to talk about the layout here, you'll see the three categories of messages up here: unread, recent, and all. You'll then see the messages listed in that category, and you can use this search to look within that category. So you can see right now I'm in the unread category, and I can cycle between recents and all, just like this. Now, in terms of what these mean, and I will actually cover this first, and then we'll talk about the rest of the area. The unread simply shows any messages that you haven't read, right? But technically, what it's showing is any messages that haven't been actioned. Because if, for example, you're on your mobile and you're on the app, or whether you pull out your laptop and you look at a message in the unread column, unless you respond to it or you go over here and you mark it as read, then it will stay in this unread status. And the reason for this is so that you can actually look at your messages and still identify those that need some sort of action, right? So simply clicking on this won't make it as read. You'll have to either respond to it or mark it as read, right? So that's how this area here works. Then you have the recent conversations, and what this shows is any messages that have been incoming. So any messages that have come in, they'll be here in this area. Now, if you want to remove a message from this area, you can archive it with the archive button up here on the top right. And technically what that does is it puts it into the all category, and it won't show it in the recents category. So moving through from here, if I click on all, well, that will show me all messages, and that includes anything that you've archived and anything where you've sent a contact a message, but they haven't actually replied to you. So for example, there might be a conversation thread that somebody opted in for a campaign and they've never written back. That will be sitting in the all area. So you can always search by name, by contact record here, by just typing in their name just here. So as for the rest of the area here, how does this work? So what we've got here is a whole conversation thread, and the fantastic thing about your platform here is that it keeps all your conversations in one place. So here we can see we've actually got an ability, we can send SMS and send email. If I had integrated my Facebook with this account, I could have also sent a message, right? So if they were already on Messenger, you could do that as well. And so I can see, so here's this is an email that was sent. If they had a reply, it would show up here as well. These are text messages. Interesting point to note on the text message area, see anything that has a little gray question mark, that is a message that has been sent by your automation platform. So it has been automated, so it was a message run from a campaign. If you see a little circle, that is has someone's initials in it. So you can see here I'm logged in as LA here. That's the initials of this dummy user I've created. That would actually say LA there. So if you have multiple users, you can actually see who sent whatever particular message by looking at this little bubble, right? So that's what happens there. Now, in terms of sending messages, you just hit the send SMS here to type in your message. And if you have seen a previous video about templates in settings, that's where these come up, because I can type in things here. I can attach something. I can put in a little emoji, for example, and I can keep typing. Note that your emojis will always appear at the end. So even if I put it here at the beginning and I put an emoji in, it will be at the end, right? So your emoji will always appear wherever you're up to in typing. So if you wanted to come back and add one in here, you'd have to cut the message here, then add your emoji, and then paste what you had before. A little trick for you there. Now, the other cool thing you can do within this message area is use one of those templates if you've set one up. So I can hit use template, and I've got one here about address, and I just put this in, and I go use template, boom. And what it'll do is it'll drag, it'll put in whatever that contact's first name is, and it'll put it in there, and I can send that message. So I'm not going to do that right now. And vice versa, sorry, not similar, sorry, you can also send an email, and that's simply put in whatever email you want to send it from, your subject, and type in the email here. Now, and again, you can use a template here if you have set up email templates. So one of the other important things about this bit here is you will also see Messenger if you've connected with that person via Facebook Messenger, because you've hooked up your Facebook page with your integrations in the integrations area, right? So that will be an option there on some cases. So that's how the messages area really works. Okay, so the rest of what you see here on this area here is showing you the contact record. So if I click on a particular message, so here's one here, I will see the details of that contact. I'll see their name, their phone number, their email, and any tags. So this one has the tag Facebook, for example. So I could, type in another tag. So I can start typing demo, and I've got two options here. So I could add in one of those tags if I wanted to. And I can also make a new tag, whatever it was called, not literally new tag, but whatever yours is that makes sense, and hit add new tag, and then now that tag is created. You can always edit these tags in the tag manager, which is something we cover in a different video. So there is a toggle here called DND. This is basically an opt-out status. So you can set triggers to people to opt out on certain keywords, but you can also manually, if someone writes back that they don't want to get any more messages, you can flick this across and they will not get any more messages from automated campaigns, whether it is email or SMS or Messenger, it won't send to that person. Now, active campaigns is showing me any current automations from the campaigns that are running. So remember, in marketing, we have our campaigns. They're the automated sequences that send out SMSs, Messenger, emails, maybe voicemail drops, things like that. That's what's showing here. So for example, I can manually add someone to a campaign. So I could say, okay, I want to add someone to this campaign newsletter. Now, if you want to run it straight away, then you just hit, and then you just hit add, and that will run it straight away. What this event start time box is saying is that if you have minus timings in your reminder sequence, so for example, an appointment reminder, you can actually set that here. So this is a little bit more of an advanced step, but I'm going to show it to you here so you understand what this does. So say, for example, I was going to set an appointment call reminder sequence. Now you'll see when you go into campaigns that these sequences are based off the time of the appointment, a certain time period before it, right? In fact, just so you understand what this is, why don't I just dive into one of those really quick and just show you. So if I was in a appointment reminders for a 28-day call, you can see that this is set to go 1400 minutes before the appointment. This is 127 minutes before the appointment. This is 10 minutes before the appointment, right? So when this occurs from a trigger, this will just populate it from the appointment time. Now, you might want to use this in other ways where you have like a special event on or something like that that's on, Friday night, the 31st of October. So what you could do is if you wanted to, if I was in conversations and I was looking at this contact, let's find where I was looking at before. Okay, and I wanted to add a campaign here. And I said it was this event. I'm just going to do the newsletter one, but I wanted it to base off a certain time. I can say, okay, 31st of October at 7 p.m. right? And so if there's a timer in there that says, start sending messages 2 days before an event, this is where it populates from, right? Most of the time you won't need to use this. You just want to add them to a sequence for some reason. You just hit add and it'll add them to that campaign. Right, see what happens there? I've got the D&D enabled, so it couldn't put me in the campaign. So now let's put that off. So that's this green toggle here, and will add me again to the campaign newsletter, and I'll hit add, and you'll see I go in just here. Now this might be a very short sequence, in which case I may fall straight out of it. Nope, I'm still in it, so I've just got an email you can see it's just been sent right now, and I'm still in the campaign. So when you're in this view, you might see people's current active campaigns, and they'll look like this. They'll look like just blue text, and they'll have a little X in it. And so what that means is you can actually take them out of that campaign simply by hitting this blue X. And now this contact has been removed from that sequence. Now, the next bit here is opportunities. So what this is a new feature of your platform where you can, if this person is in a opportunity pipeline, you can go to look at their opportunity from this view. So it's just a time saver that if you wanted to have a look at their opportunity card, you can hit this edit button and it'll show you what status they're in with the opportunity, and I could change what stage they're in. I could change the status. I could even move the pipeline, change the lead value, etc. Right? So the pipeline is which pipeline they're in. The status, the stage we've talked about in the opportunity videos, where it's, are they a lead? Have they booked? Have they attended? The status is the deal marked as won? Like, is the sales deal marked as won, lost, or abandoned? The value you can adjust as to what the value is. And you can use that feature whether or not they've signed up, because it will reflect in your dashboard statistics. You can assign them to a user. So in this case, you will see a list of all the users in your account, and you can assign them to a particular person. And you can adjust where they came from manually here as well. So that's what that opportunity here as well. Now, the other thing you can do regarding opportunities from the conversation view is you can create a new opportunity here. Now, 9 times out of 10, you'll be creating opportunities based on triggers, because when somebody submits a form or an inquiry or something like this, they'll automatically be added to a pipeline. However, if you manually want to add someone to a pipeline, you can do it here. And all these fields are exactly what I just showed you a minute ago. The last thing you can do on this particular view is actually schedule them on a calendar. So when you hit this schedule button, you can then select the calendar. If you have multiple calendars, choose the day, the time. Now the slots here will only be shown as to what the set availability of the calendar is, as opposed to your calendar view when you can set appointments whenever you like. And we'll show that in another view in a minute. Then you can set an appointment title. This is what will reflect on their calendar and your calendar, or you can leave it blank and it will just default to the name of the calendar. Very important, don't change the name, email address, or the phone number here. Just leave them exactly as is. Otherwise, you can interfere with the automation system in terms of the triggers that actually link to that contact. In other words, if you adjust these here, you will create another contact record. So if you need to adjust these, it's best practice to go into their contact record and change those and save those changes, and then go and book the appointment. Very important as well, if you are booking an appointment, make sure if they are in a different time zone, make sure you set this to their time zone. Otherwise, they will get any reminder sequences set in your time zone rather than their own. Meeting location you can leave as is, or you can put in if it's something in particular that's different, and you can set your status in your calendar reflective to that appointment and the appointment status. So again, most of the time you'll just leave these as busy and confirmed, and you can put in any notes here, and these notes will reflect in your your area in your automation platform here when you look up that client meeting, but they don't show up in the actual shared calendar. Right, so when they add it to their calendar, they won't see these notes, but you'll see the notes within your booking system here in your platform. So that's how you can schedule appointment from a view there. I'm very quickly going to show you what I was talking about regarding the flexibility of scheduling, because what you saw here was I had limited time slots here. Now, because you're manually doing this, you might want to schedule beyond what you normally show as the availability. And if you wanted to do that, and you'll see this in the calendar video, but what you can do is you can go into your scheduling view and go into calendar, select the appropriate calendar here. Now in this case, I just have the one. And you can literally click on anywhere you like to start that appointment, except if it's in the past. So I'm going to click on a date that's in the future now. And now I can set the start date and the end time. I can really make this exactly what I want it to be. All these other things are the same here, but very important note here, as I mentioned before, you want to be careful about creating duplicate contacts. As I look for the person, I'm just going to type in their first name and I'm going to find their record. And as I click on their name, it'll input all their information there, right? And then everything else here is exactly the same. So the point is that you will get more flexibility as to when you can set that appointment, the duration of the appointment, by going to the calendar view. But always remember to find the contact by typing in part of their name and then selecting it from the list. Very important point. Now you'll notice if you go to do that and you close it, the slot still sits there. right? So if you've done that in error, you will need to go back and click on that space and delete it so that it's not marked as like a not available period. So that concludes the this video here on how to manage and use your Conversations tab.